Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Deer Creek. That's a nice sight to see here on the farm. Obviously, we've got the combines out, which must mean our barley is ready to go. Now, we've got everything lined up here. We've been going through, doing some maintenance, some checks. We had to put some more diesel in the 9RX there. Going to use that on the grain cart, I think, today. But we've obviously also had the combines in here, making sure they're all set up and ready to go for the barley as well. So they're all looking good. A bit dirty there on the front already of that one, but not to worry. So, plan for today. Now, just as we walk over here and go and take a look at the field, I have paid down $200,000 on the loan, so our bank balance has dropped down, but those contracts we did in the last live stream certainly went a long way to helping reduce that figure. So we're down half of what we were, so hopefully we can make some good coin off this crop and potentially pay it off a little bit sooner. But look at that, how good does that look? Beautiful colour, and just look at it moving in the wind. Isn't it nice? It's probably a little bit early to be harvesting, 8 o'clock in the morning. Probably need to let it dry out just a little bit more before we get into it, but give us a chance just to go over and do some final checks on all the equipment. Make sure everything is all up and running. So we'll go and do that. We'll get cracking in here as soon as we are able to. Going to be using a lot of course play obviously for the combines. We're going to try and set up an auto drive for the grain cart and also for the truck. Obviously the truck's not going to be a hard one because it's going from the edge of the field into the bins there, so not a hard course to set up. The other thing actually, I'm just wondering, we may have to, I'm just going to have a quick look on the map, and indeed we do. I was just wondering if we might end up with some weeds on our fields 4 and 9, the ones we planted last time, and there you go, you can see we do have quite a collection. Now, interestingly enough, you can see where the roller's been. So again, the wheels there have obviously caused some damage when they're when we've been rolling the field. So that's quite neat. I do like seeing that. It gives a nice effect on the map. Obviously, it doesn't change much, but we do want to go and get in on these just as soon as we can. So that might be something else we do. Go and pull out the sprayer there. Take the gooseneck over. Go and get some liquid fertilizer. We might go and set that up going as well. We'll see how we go with getting the combines going first. So let's go and crack into that. We've got everything over here to the field. We need to set the grain cart and truck up on an auto drive course. But first things first, we need to get the combines here underway. So we're sitting here in the X9. We're going to bring up course play and set up the course and see how it all works out on this. It'll be interesting to see how they figure out the best way to work this field is going to be. So here in the course play or worker menu with course play field work set up, we've set our field position here so we can see the outline nice and clearly. If we open the course play generator, we've got our work width set 51. I'm just going to bump that down because I think that was a little bit wide last time. Multiple tools, definitely 2 headlands. We're definitely going to go around twice as well to give us nice big space at each end. We're going to start work on headlands obviously. Center of the field, we want to do this on land so we can get those augers on the right side all the time. I think 6, I might even go up to 8 on this because it is quite a big field. We could probably handle having those bigger lands. Now this one that always seems to caught me out the other day in the live stream, taking that field margin down to 0. We do have trees around the edge of the field, so I will leave it like that. We do risk missing a little bit, probably just on the corners, so not a big loss. So I think those settings are looking at pretty good. Let's go ahead and generate the course and see what it comes up with. Alright, so there's its first go. 2 issues. 1, we're going to have a problem there. 2, we're going to have a problem over in the corner here. So I think, how many lands? We went for 8, but that's only doing it in 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So I think we might bump that number down a little bit, just see if it does a little bit better job. The other thing I've noticed, it's also only done 1 headland pass, and that'll be because of this section up in here. It gets too tight to turn that course around, and for some reason I won't do it. It did it with the roller over in this field when we got up to this point, so I don't know why the combines can't work in the same way as that, but it is how it is, so we'll just try regenerating that one. And then we go bumped down to 6, and apart from this little point here, which I don't think will be a problem, we've kept that corner pretty clear of anything, so I can probably afford to run across those. It's looking much better. We're not going through the trees or anything like that. So, and the other thing I did, I bumped the header width down to 50.2. We just have a look here. 50.2 worked, 50.5 didn't, and we've managed to get our 2 headland passes in, which is interesting. We must be right there. You can see that tight little piece there, where it's having to do a turn, it was able to figure it out with that slightly narrow width, which is interesting. Right, I think we need to save this course so that we can use it on the other combine, and then we're going to set this guy off. Okay, well, we are going to start this now at first waypoint. We've got this set to left, is what we want to have. Field 1, 2 combine, which is this course name we gave it. So I think there's nothing left, and to press play here and see if they're going to go. Now they won't go. Now this is one thing I've actually a little bit find a little bit frustrating with course play. So because we've got the convoy mode there, we've got 150 feet, but because we're running dual tools, it won't actually start the first one till the second one's going, which is a little bit, I find it a little bit irritating, because really there's nothing stopping that guy starting, getting a head start before the second one goes, but it is how it is at the moment. It could be something they are working on for the time being, and we might see change in future releases of course play. But we'll go over and get the S790 up and running, and that should send them all on their way. Alright, there we go, we are off and going. Just missed a little bit there because of where the entry is. Now I'm just going to make one little change, which is we don't want to be dropping straw swaths. We want to leave the straw on the ground. I tabbed the wrong vehicle now. The reason for that I will explain in just a second, but let's just make that change. Alright, there we go, we are getting that straw swath spread instead of swathed. We obviously, one, we don't want to be going around and baling that. It would be a pretty big effort on this field, but two, we've actually got the straw on fields mod, I think it's called, and that should be leaving a fertilised state behind us by leaving all this organic matter that's coming out the back of the harvesters, leaving that back on the soil. So we'll just take a quick look at the map and see if we can spot that. And indeed you can notice it, but the problem I can see we're going to have is the X9 spreads it wonderfully. It's spreading the full width of the header. The S790 doesn't seem to quite have the spread width that the X9 does, so we can end up with quite a patchy field. We'll have to have a look at that when the time comes. I'm just trying to decide whether it's worth doing it. I don't want to keep the straw swath anyhow. It's just going to be a pain, so we will just keep going like this. If we just have a look over here, you can see it is quite a lot narrower, on that swath. Now I don't know if there's a different cutting board that we could have put on the combine when we purchased it, but it is what it is. It's what we've got, and that's what it's going to be providing us. So we end up with a funny looking patchwork of lines from the fertilisation for this field after we've finished harvesting. But there we go, we are underway. 17% in this combine and almost 20% here in the lead X9. So we better go and get the course play set up with the grain cart and get them ready to come and start doing some unloading. Right, so we've actually come and hopped in the truck first before the grain cart, because I want to get the truck positioned and ready for its unload before we get the grain cart position, because obviously the truck's position is a little bit more critical to make sure we dump into the right spot. So we're going to record a course. It's going to go around the shed, back up there, then we're going to come out onto the road, follow back onto this course, and then come in the other end to go and unload into the silo complex. So we'll get that recorded and then we'll set up the grain cart. Alright, so that should be the course for the truck recorded. So if we just jump in here and we will set it up to do what it needs to do. So we're obviously loading up at a course F1 truck load. We want to dump at the yard grain silo, and we're going to be hauling barley. So we should be able to press go on there, and it should head to the truckload spot, and that will get us in the right position to be able to record the course for the grain cart. There we go, pulling in pretty much perfectly right next to the grain cart. So we'll leave the truck here and we'll get the course recorded for the grain cart so he can head out and catch up with the combines, which must be getting close to full. There we go, we've got the course for that set up. I'll just turn that back on so you can see we have had to go into the field a little bit. That'll obviously be taken out with the first headland pass, which isn't too big an issue. We did have to turn crop destruction off to be able to do that though, so we'll have to make sure we remember to turn that back on. There you can see our truck load where the truck is sitting and our grain cart unload, so they will drive past each other, which is the perfect way to do it. You want to try and do them in opposing directions. It seems to work the best. So we'll press go there. That's going to tell us there's no harvesters with the same target to be found because we haven't set the combines up with the F1 grain cart weight point yet. So we'll go do that, and that should send the grain cart here on its way to go and empty them out. And as if by magic, we've got down here just as the lead combine is full. So we'll pick up that F1 grain cart weight point, and hopefully we're going to get a grain cart to come down here very soon, and we'll do the same in the other combine. So this is not ideal, we're unloading in the trees, but for whatever reason Courseplay didn't cut in. Now I'm assuming it's because it's detecting there is enough free space here next to it, even though there's the trees, to unload into. So it's a little bit frustrating, but just one of those things. Right through FS19 and into 22, I did find that opening up fields was always the hardest part with Courseplay and auto drive. So once you got past that, things seemed to go pretty well. But on the plus side, the grain cart did make it all the way over here on its own without us having to take over. So there we go, that is all done, and we'll get these going again. Now the other thing I had problems with is the combines didn't seem to figure out their order. They were working fine to start with, but then when I had to intervene and stop them and tried to start them again, the combine here on the right wanted to overtake the one on the left. So we'll just have to set them going again and see what happens. Alright, I seem to have fixed it by driving forward. It's almost like the combine here on the right, when we look at which waypoint it's on there, see it's on number 325. It's like it had jumped the queue in the waypoint numbers, so I'm not sure whether that's what's caused it, but seem to have fixed it by just driving the X9 forward and starting them off a little bit further ahead here of this combine. So that's good, we'll get them back underway and we'll get the grain cart back, hopefully running on the course that they should. Just looking here at the map, look at our stripes we're getting. They have made it quite a way around the headland, so hopefully they'll get up around here before needing another unload, and that might mean that it's more likely to cut in because there is a fence there and things like that for access. So we'll see what happens when we get to there. Well, there we are, we've reached 95% full, and I'm guessing we're backing up maybe to cut in, which is kind of funny because there's actually quite a decent grass section there, even though it's the back of someone's yard, to unload in. There we go, we are cutting in. Now the other funny part was, with the power lines all the way along the side there, is the combine decided to drive along with its auger hanging out because it had reached the threshold of 60%, which is when I told it to call for the grain cart. But we can see there the 9RX is heading along in the back. We've got both combines sitting here with pipes out, so we'll get them unloaded, and we are not very far from being all the way back around to the start. So just over 2 hoppers to get around that headland pass, which is not too bad. Oh, he figured his way around, did a full 360 there pretty much out in the field, but has found his way to sit here under the auger and get unloaded, which is good. So we'll let them carry on here, and it'll be interesting actually to see how the grain cart finds its way back to the truck. I'm assuming it's just going to drive through the middle of the field rather than waiting for the combines to open it up, but that is what it is. We'll see what happens. So the grain cart's managed to get back over here to the truck, and we're just pulling into the unload point. Now there's more in the grain cart than the truck can carry actually, so we should find, we'll fill the truck up, they should then drive off to unload, and the grain cart will sit here until the truck gets back and empty. So it's not too much of an issue because the truck is not going very far at all. There we go, that is the front hopper done. Just see the combine starting to come around to finish off the headland pass here, which is good. Now we're just going to hop into the truck and ride along to see how they go on their course. Just had to tweak that course just a little bit to get round to the post there. First time in we climbed the fence, so we just had to make the swing a little bit wider. It was only just enough. I might actually tweak that a little bit more, but we should get in here and get unloaded. I know that we don't have any problems doing this, so we'll let the truck do that, and then I just want to make sure it gets back to the grain cart point again. There we go, we've got unloaded, heading back out of the silo over towards the grain cart again. This is just working as we expected it would. It's good. You can see the combines have cut in and are well on their second headland pass too, so this will be good timing to get the grain cart unloaded so they can run off and deal to the combines again. The auger's out, empty grain cart racing up to catch up to us, so it's going to be a good test actually. Seems to be doing a perfect job there to unload on the go. That's very impressive. Look at that. Hopefully by the time we get this combine unloaded, the grain cart will be able to go up and pick up the front combine, because it was only at about 80%. Looks like the articulated tractor though is just having a few issues, just on this little bit of a bend. That will be a bit of a downside of doing it on a headland. Struggling to keep alignment by the looks of things, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. And the big question right now is, can the grain cart untangle itself to catch up here before we get to 95% full? It looks like it's going to. Couldn't quite figure out how to get around the little point of barley that was still sitting out there, but here it comes now, which is good. And it's finally managed to find its way down here. Decided to go and have a little dance with the other combine first, so still some teething issues. Looking forward to getting them opened up and in some up and down rows, because I think that's probably going to run just a little bit smoother than what we've got at the moment. Just coming around now, the combines are finishing off the second headland pass, so we should be on to some up and down rows now. Grain cart's about 87% full, I think, so they should go over and start to unload into the truck. Truck looks like it's got a full front hopper, and wonder where that grain cart's going. He's going to have to come and make a big swing to hook into his course for getting to the truck. That's fine. So let's just go and see how these guys go getting to their next part, which is their up and down rows. Alright, headland's done, and both the combines have come down and swung into their up and down rows, which looks to be going perfectly, which is nice. You can just see the truck in the distance there. They're pulling out of the silos and be heading around and getting another load in there from the grain cart. I think there's actually enough in the grain cart to fill the truck up once more, so that'll be good. But now that we're into these up and down rows, I'm hoping everything's going to run just that little bit smoother. Obviously working across the field this direction, we're going to open it up and not have the issue with the grain cart running through the crop quite so much. And it's probably going to be a little bit better timing because of how long it takes to fill up with all the turns and everything like that on the headlands. So I think now would be the perfect time, now that we've got everything up and running, headlands opened, field is all opened up, to put together a montage of some of this work, and we'll come back and catch up with you again very soon. Well, you'd think I would have learnt my lesson after a few episodes ago when we ran the 9RX out of diesel, but alas I have not. We spent all that time with the combines parked here in front of the sheds, getting them all tuned up, serviced, and drove off without putting diesel in either of them. Even filled the 9RX, and we now have two combines sitting out in the field, one pretty much empty and the other very close to. So we've come back to the yard. We're just grabbing the pickup here with the Thunder Creek fuel trailer. We're just getting some diesel into it from the tank here, and we'll run out and get them topped up. Otherwise, things are going reasonably well. Courseplay, multi-tools, running lands, I think is still a work in progress. There might be a few bugs in there. It seems that when it changes direction, it waits for the second combine to catch up, but then it wants the second combine to take the lead, which doesn't work because one, it puts it in the middle of the crop, so the auger's not on the outside, and two, we invariably end up having a collision with headers. So there's been a little bit of babysitting needing to be done while we were capturing some of that footage for the montage. So not quite perfect, but it is getting there. there we go. We will we'll just head out here now. Got 2,000 litres of diesel in here. That should be enough to keep them going. As you can see, we are getting our way across the field. We've cut out the two sort of narrow little pieces in here and onto the main body. So hopefully things will start running a little bit smoother now. But let's head down. We'll get some diesel into them and get them back underway again. There we go, getting the diesel into the combines here. So we've put 1,000 litres or so into combine number 2 and just getting a little bit here into combine number 1. Might as well keep going until we're just about full. We do have a lot of harvesting in front of us still in this field and coming up later on in summer. So we're must just about be full. Still going. There we go, that sounds like it's stopped. Right, we'll get the pickup moved out of the way and get carried on with some more combine. And there we go, we are all back underway and harvesting again. Now I am doing this voiceover after the fact, after we had recorded this. I managed to harvest this whole field and it took an extraordinarily long time, and in editing the video we ended up with about 45 minutes. So to cut it down to something a little bit more manageable, we've eked it out into 2 episodes, and this will be coming out as part 1, and part number 2 of the barley harvest will be later in the weekend. So keep an eye out for that coming out in a few days. But it is good to have made such a good dent into this field and really make a start. Horseplay has been a little bit interesting and still a little bit of a learning curve for me, and obviously still being in development. I'm sure there'll be some big improvements still to come for it in the coming weeks. Looking forward to seeing how that grows and how it develops. So we'll wrap things up there. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed part 1 of the barley harvest. Like I said, part 2 will be out in a few days, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.